Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here in this video, we are, as always, going to go over your Tesla stock breaking news. And there's something that happened today that has literally never happened before. And it's kind of weird, although I take it as a very bullish indicator for the EV market in China. If you're confused, stick around a while. We will break it all down. We have a lot of other Tesla news to go over. We will look at some of the option activity, all of the other headline news. And we do have quite a few comments from Trump in regards to this Putin meeting. Trump yet again praises the stock market for being at a new all-time high. And we had a bunch of economic data that came out this morning we will cover in today's episode. First and foremost, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It's free 99, costs you absolutely nothing to do so. If you guys want to take it a step further and come trade with us live in real time, check out that link down below in the description of this video. We are going out and targeting under the radar AI stocks that are better, to be quite honest, than SoundHound, BBAI, a lot of the well-known household AI names at this point, much better companies growing at faster rates of speed, but for one reason or another, they're trading at a fraction of the valuation. Okay, pure play AI names. Like, these are 10, 20, 30x opportunities in my view over the next 1 to 3 years. Those are the kind of opportunities that we are honing in on. And surprisingly, there is quite a few of them that we are investing in as of right now. So come join it if you would like to. Keep in mind, if you do join that, you have to link your Discord on Patreon. Link it on your Patreon account for the service to work. Almost everyone that joins asks, like, how do I get access? You have to link your Discord on your Patreon, okay? With that said, let's get into today's episode. First and foremost, at the time of recording this video, stocks are trading lower today. Tesla is down about 1.5%. The Russell down about 1/3 of 1%. The S&P is down about 1/10 of 1%. Okay, they're trading lower, I think, because of the uncertainty of what's going to happen with this Russia-Trump meeting. We still don't have like the details of, you know, is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? It's about 2 p.m. right now, and they just landed in Alaska. Okay, so we were told earlier today that this meeting could go 6 or 7 hours if it is positive. So we're not going to likely hear anything until later tonight. And you know, that's making Wall Street a little nervous because today is Friday, and by the time we hear anything, stocks are going to be closed. So when there is uncertainty, when there is a little bit of nervousness, what do? Well, you likely go out and hedge your portfolio to some degree. As I've talked about before on this channel, the risk in today's meeting with Trump and Putin is they don't get along. They're not seeing eye to eye. Trump thinks Putin doesn't want to really end the conflict. Okay, that would be the worst case scenario here. I guess the worst case scenario could be much worse than that, but that's the market's logical worst case scenario. In that event, that opens the door for a lot more geopolitical risks and tariff risks. Okay, Trump's going to likely tariff China and other countries that purchase Russian oil if the meeting does not go well. Here's the good news. It's likely going to go very well. We'll get into some of those comments here in just a moment. But let's be honest. Why would Putin come to Alaska and have an in-person meeting with Trump if he was not serious about ending the conflict? That, to me, does not make a whole lot of sense. So I just wanted to start today's video with explaining, in my view, why stocks are coming under a little bit of pressure today. We'll also get into the economic data in just a moment that also should be discussed. But first, let's get into all of your Tesla stock breaking news today. And in no order of significance, here's your first piece. A new $60 million Tesla Megapack battery energy storage system is now online in France. The 100 megawatt, 200 megawatt Chauffeur facility is the country's first large-scale 2-hour duration system and is capable of powering about 170,000 homes for 2 hours. Lucid is introducing a new $7,500 incentive for buyers who aren't able to take delivery by the time the $7,500 federal EV credit ends in the U.S. on September 30th. They say, quote, qualified leases place an order for a Lucid Gravity by September 30th and lease between October 1st and December 31st will be eligible to receive a $7,500 Lucid Advantage credit. Existing qualifying customers are covered as well. Now, Tesla is now offering free lifetime supercharging for all new Model 3 inventory in Canada. Now, Tesla is now hiring vehicle operators in Delhi and Mumbai. You can see these are full-time positions under the category of AI and robotics. You can also see that autopilot is highlighted here. So, yeah, India driving, we're going to need, I don't know. I would love to see FSD try to, you know, conquer that one. That's going to take some time, but they're working on that process. And after nearly 2 years of industrial action and sympathy strikes, Swedish labor union IF Metal has stated that it is softening its stance in its dispute with Tesla. With this, Tesla and the union have opened the door to resolutions. Okay, and this is, I think, a first. I don't think you've ever seen anything like this. Zomi's massive waitlist has the CEO suggesting Tesla to frustrated buyers. He says, quote, the Model Y is a great car, and Tesla has announced a number of promotions yesterday, so you might want to consider it, he said. This is because the Zomi YU7 got 240,000 pre-orders in 18 hours. So, like, yeah, those individuals that are bottom on the list, it's going to take a very long time to get that car. And imagine that. You know, pre-orders opened 6 hours ago and you're already going to have to wait, let's say, a year to get a vehicle. People are a little frustrated by that. But Xiaomi's CEO to suggest buying a Tesla instead is wild, okay? Actually shocking. What it tells me is the Chinese auto market or the Chinese economy is probably doing okay. Okay? Just the number of pre-orders and the CEO saying, hey, just buy a Tesla. Like, that to me sounds like the Chinese auto market is probably better than most people think right now. So while I think it's a great endorsement for Tesla, and who knows if it'll, you know, boost demand in the country, we'll see. I think it's just a broader indicator that China's probably doing okay right now. Tesla has resumed paid advertising for its vehicles on YouTube after stopping last year. The official Tesla X account on X posted all of their graffiti at Giga Berlin, which honestly is incredible. Like, we should have more of this, like, everywhere. Just look at that. Look at all of that. That's gorgeous. Maybe I just love art, but like, too cool. Too damn cool. And if you guys were unfamiliar, Beijing held the first ever World Humanoid Robot Games today and yesterday, featuring hip hop, soccer, boxing, track, and more. What this tells me, or shows me again, is we're gonna have an AI Cold War for a very long time with China. If they're literally doing a humanoid robot games for humanoid robots in China, yeah, competition is on for a long time. And that's a great thing. Competition creates value. Without competition, there's no value. Okay? This is just going to push innovation faster and further than it otherwise would have been. Kind of like the US-Russia Cold War that lasted like 50 years, right? From 1947 through 95, around there. And during that, call it 50-year period, there was massive innovation in both both countries really, but in the US in particular. Raji, that works at Tesla, says US Model 3 incentives will be removed very soon. Now, here on the day today, you have short interest of free float in Tesla stock at 2.6%, which has fallen quite a bit over the last 3 months. It's down about 8%. You have $23.62 billion sold short in Tesla. That's down about 14.5% over the last 3 months. And the amount of shares sold short sits at 70.39 million. That's down about 11.5% in the last 3 months. Okay. Now, today you have 1.11 million shares that are being sold short, which again is not a huge surprise considering the Trump-Putin meeting. We're not going to really hear anything about that unless it's just really bad and ends quickly until probably later tonight. There was talk that this meeting could be 6 or 7 hours long. Okay, like that's insane. I don't think Wall Street was expecting that kind of a time frame. I think we were expecting to know something by the end of the trading day. So I'm not super surprised to see shorting activity in markets, some put buying out there, some hedging of portfolios, because the last thing you want or want to see happen if you're long and unhedged is markets get really bad news over the weekend and there's nothing you can do to hedge about it, right? You can't hedge, you just it's up to whatever the markets do on Monday. So there's some preventative hedging that is taking place today, but I don't take it as a sign of any particular outcome or weakness in markets. I think it's a very logical thing that Wall Street is doing. Am I hedging? No. I think there's going to be very positive outcomes to this meeting, and I actually think it's going to be a very positive catalyst for markets, but I could see why big money is hedging portfolios today. Now, here's a headline here. It says, White House pool report. The previously planned one-on-one meeting between Trump and Putin is now a 3-on-3 meeting. Trump will be joined by Secretary of State Rubio and Special Envoy Witkoff. Canadian Prime Minister Carney is planning to visit Mexico on September 18th. The Russian ambassador to the U.S., Alexander Darshev, expects a positive outcome but no breakthrough from the Trump-Putin summit, Russian state media reported. Trump said today that the Putin meeting will, quote, work out very well. Trump says if the meeting with Putin doesn't go well, I'll head home. I would head back home real fast. Trump says stock markets are at a record high. It was reported at 1:53 p.m. today that Vladimir Putin's plane has landed in the U.S. Yushakov said that we need to wait for the results of the meeting between Putin and Trump to understand whether there will be a next summit. Also in the news today, U.S. military will be deploying over 4,000 additional troops to waters around Latin America as part of Trump's counter-cartel mission. Trump says, I want to see a ceasefire rapidly. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I'm not going to be happy if it's not today. Fed Goolsbee says, let's not overreact to 1 month of PPI, CPI import prices, but it is an area of concern. The U.S. is sending out over 4,000 Marine sailors against drug cartels. Here's another reiteration of this, according to CNN. And Trump on Putin meeting says Europe's not telling me what to do. Trump on the Putin meeting says nothing is set in stone. So again, you could see why stocks are a little nervous, okay, heading into this meeting. Here you could see that the Kremlin says that Putin-Trump talks could last for a minimum of 6 to 7 hours. 6 to 7 hour minimum? That's wild. That would be like 9 p.m. tonight before we may hear anything at all. Trump on the Putin meeting says, I don't know what would make the summit a success. And again, Wall Street is focused on this. It's moving markets. People are hedging, not because of the war in Ukraine, but because, again, if the meeting goes bad, then you have the risk of additional tariffs on countries like China, which would be the real negative, catalyst from this meeting if it is bad. But it's hard to see a negative outcome here. The Trump administration has lawful authority to assert control over police in Washington, according to a White House spokeswoman. And Zelensky says there are no signals from Russia to stop the war. Russian envoy Dmitriev, which is going to be at this meeting, says the mood ahead of Putin-Trump talks is combative. Russian envoy Dmitriev says talks are aimed at restoring Russia-US relations, not just the economy. The Kremlin says that Russia expects that Alaska talks will bring results. And according to Bloomberg and their chart here, citing the ISM Services PMI, says the jaws of stagflation are wide open with prices paid going up and employment falling. Now, it's important to remember that the ISM is the services sector, but the PMI is the Purchasing Managers Index. So it's basically like a group of executives at service companies giving their estimates for what is to come. They're expecting higher prices and a worsening employment market. But that's far from like actual hard data. Putin lays flowers at memorial commemorating U.S.-Soviet World War II cooperation in Russia's Magadan. That was today. You can see today pretty much all of the headlines, literally almost all of the headlines today hitting the newswire are about this Russia, Putin-Trump meeting. Like that is what is dominating the headlines today. So don't take it from me when I say it's going to be a big catalyst for markets. It's literally all anyone is talking about today. Now, the economic data today, at least for retail sales, came in better than expected. Okay, last month's number for retail sales month over month was 0.5%. It was revised up to 0.9%. So that's great. And the expectation was 0.5% today. That is where we came in. So came in line with expectations with a stronger month last month. Now, when you're looking at month over month numbers and you were revised up again, I think I said from 0.5%, from 0.6% up to 0.9%, and then you get a 0.5% number for a month over month reading, that's actually better than the expectation. Okay, so we actually beat expectations today. Okay, now export prices month over month came in at 0.1% in line with expectations, and import prices month over month came in at 0.4%, higher than the 0% expectation. New York Empire State Manufacturing Index came in at 11.90. The consensus was 0, so that was much better than expected. But when you skip down here to the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey, you came in at 58.6. The expectation was 62. Okay, so you came in lower than expected. 5-year inflation expectations went up to 3.9%. The previous month was 3.4%. The expectation was 3.6%, so that was higher than expected. Consumer expectations came in at 57.2 versus 56.5. Last month was 57.7. So you you beat expectations today, but missed relative to last month's number. Current conditions came in at 60.9. The expectation was 67.9. So that really missed expectations. And 1 year ahead inflation expectations came in at 4.9%, coming in higher than the expected 4.8%. But again, this Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey is literally one of the most political data sets you're ever going to see. It's almost all Democrats skewing these numbers. Okay, when you look at like average estimates, there hasn't been much of a rise in inflation expectations. Democrats think the economy is going to get a lot worse. Republicans think the economy is going to get a lot better. Democrats expect a lot more inflation. Republicans expect no inflation. Like, it's a very political survey, and it's only like a couple hundred people that make this up. So it's not a large data set at all. And honestly, I don't think it really affected markets much today. Now, the AI Investor Sentiment Survey today came in very interesting, okay? Bullish investors are at 29.9%, the lowest we've seen in well over a month now. Neutral investors went up from last week. Last week, you were at 21.9% and went up to 24.0%. And bearish investors went up again, hitting the highest levels again we've had in over 2 months, going from 43.2% last month to 46.2%. So this is actually a good thing, okay? To have stocks as high as they are right now and to have so many bears, it's a sign that there's a lot of people bearish. And when there's a lot of people bearish, that means there's a lot more people to get bullish, essentially. That maybe there's a lot of this market that is way too bearish, okay? It's one of those contrarian indicators. Whereas if there was a lot of bulls, it would be a little bit of a red flag to say, okay, maybe we're getting too bullish. Maybe like we should calm down a little bit. When you get the bears that are rising like this, as stocks have also been rising, it's really a green flag, okay? It is really a good sign that markets are not overstretched, okay? And nowhere, again, even close to a bubble, okay? That was some of the arguments that we've started to see on CNBC, that this market is like heading into a bubble. No, it's not even close, okay? If like 10 is a major bubble that's about to pop and 1 is like, neutral market, like there's nothing happening, it's just la-di-da-di-da all day, every day, we're at like a 2.5. Like we're not at la-di-da-di-da, like there's obviously some parts of excitement in this market, but nowhere close to a bubble by any metric, okay? CNN Fear and Greed Index today is coming in at 65. What's interesting here is yesterday you were at 63. So it's actually going up even though the indexes are in the red today. Market momentum is greed. Stock price strength is greed. Stock price breadth is neutral. Put and call options, extreme greed. Market volatility is neutral. Safe haven demand is greed. And junk bond demand is also in greed today. If we look at the percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average, this is another big green flag in my view. You've went from, 79% of stocks above their 50-day moving average at the high down to 57.3%. So you've seen a bit of a reset internally in markets as well. And still, stocks have done pretty good. Like you're still sitting near all-time highs on the S&P, but you've got this internal reset. So I actually think the setup looks really good. I think we're going to get good news out of the Trump-Putin summit or meeting, if you will. And that's going to be one of the big catalysts we are going to react to coming on Monday that I think will send stocks higher. Because, again, it takes off that tariff risk on China, which, lowers the odds of economic disaster. That lowers the odds of having a more persistent inflation issue from Wall Street's perspective. Getting some kind of deal done with Putin, even if Zelensky does not agree with it, is all the markets care about right now. Literally, that is like 90% of the news wire today is comments on this summit. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Check out that link down below in the description of this video for the trading community, the best community in the entire world by far, not even a comparison. Because what we are doing is so much different than what everyone else does. Okay, sure, we make short-term trades. We make very calculated quote unquote gambles, if you will. But what we're really doing and what I've specialized in my investing journey long before this was actually a program brought to everyone is exactly this. Whatever the main theme is, whether it was cannabis in 2017, 2018, whether it was EVs or green energy or small caps in general, biopharmas had a wave there in 2019 and early 2020. No matter what it is, I'm going out and I'm finding the underappreciated stocks in that specific theme. These days, AI is just such a large theme. We have more and more opportunities to do so. And that's what's so exciting about the program that we are offering. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.